Hello everyone, and a very warm welcome to Herbert Miniatures. My name is Aidan, and in this video I'm going to show you how to build the Light of Eltharion from the Warhammer Age of Sigmar Lumineth Realm-lords. As a previous 8th edition fantasy player, I was initially skeptical of joining the Age of Sigmar pantheon, but after seeing these models and getting my hands on them, I have been blown away by both their quality and the touches in keeping with more classic High Elves. The first step of this process was to snip away all of the sections from the sprue. In my haste and eagerness to produce a video for you all, I forgot to film that bit, but I will endeavour to fill in the gaps where I can. Initially, when taking model segments from a sprue, you want to ensure that you have a small nub of the frame left on the model piece itself at the point where the injection moulding of the frame narrows to the model segment itself. This is primarily to ensure that when you are snipping the pieces away from the frame, that you are only damaging the frame and not the model itself. The second stage was to cut away any of these nubbly bits with a standard hobby knife and carefully carve away until you cannot see much more of these ugly bits. When that was done, I moved the angle of my knife and started to run it back and forth to act as an initial smoothing of the plastic. I am paying particular attention to the smoothing of any areas that are visible to the viewer of the model and any crucial joins to ensure the model components have a smooth fit all around. A very important safety note: do not do what I did and cut a knife towards your hand. Always ensure that you cut away from yourself. It is a very bad habit of mine that has resulted in 1 or 2 accidents over my lifetime. When will I learn? Once this was done, I began on what some consider a tedious bit, but in my view a very vital one for ensuring all those pesky mould lines are no longer present, and that's filing. This can be achieved with filing boards, jeweler's sandpaper of a fine grit, and you can get lost in the precision. I use a set of hobby files that I picked up online for about £3, and this was my first time using them. They turned out to be a great buy in that respect, to ensure overall a really smooth finish. Following this, it was time to conduct a dry fitting of pieces to get an idea of what goes where. I rarely follow instruction manuals as I find them really boring, so I like to experiment with parts from time to time, and I've ended up with some cool conversions through kit bashing just from trying to smash things together. Sometimes, however, parts won't always fit together, so don't force them to be with each other if it's not where they naturally sit. Take your time and enjoy the discovery of finding out how the pieces fit together. We could all do with some mindfulness in our lives, especially at this time. The next stage is gluing. I have come prepared in that regard. Certain types of plastic glues can cause irritation to the lungs, so it is important to protect yourself where possible. If you don't have a mask of some kind like myself, that's okay, but do make sure that you have an open window and all will be fine. The type of glue I am using is a recent switch for me, which is Tamiya Cement. Make sure to load up your applicator brush carefully and dab away any excess. Apply the glue to one side of the join between pieces. Hold in place for a few seconds, and voila! The plastic is adhered, but it is best to leave the plastic cure for some time. So for absolute best results, and if you have the time, I would say 24 hours, but if not, then an hour should suffice for a bond that would hold with delicate handling. The majority of the build is now complete, so at this final stage you can determine if you require any pieces not to be glued to the model to facilitate accurate painting. This is colloquially known as sub-assemblies. For Eltharion, I will more than likely keep the head separate along with the brooch, as these will benefit from individual and focused attention. The sword arms could be glued to the model at this point, as there are not many areas that are concealed enough to be obstructed if they were attached now. Remember, I am only showing you my method and approach, which may not be the way you want to go. This is your model and your hobby. And there you have it. In the end, I decided to make the helmet and brooch subsections for additional focus when it comes to painting. If you enjoyed this video, consider sharing it with others who may also benefit from it. Make sure to subscribe, leave a comment and a like on your thoughts and what you would like to see in the future. What are your thoughts to this video? Did it help at all? What would you do differently? Leave a comment and I shall do my very best to answer. I really appreciate your time in watching my very first video. So until we meet again, stay safe and take care for now.